A very good evening to everyone. I am Nandakumar, son of Mogan, as a leader for my group project for quality system. Our topic name is metal fabrication process. Now I would like to introduce my team members. First one is me, Nandakumar, son of Mogan, and second is Jugan, son of Subramaniam. Third is Tanasiran, son of Padmanathan. Fourth is Anusha, daughter of Mahendran, and last one is Nurul Anani binti Abdul Rashid. Now, I would like to explain about the introduction for our project. Metal fabrication is a broad term referring to any process that cuts, shapes, or molds metal material into a final product. Instead of an end product being assembled from ready-made components, fabrication creates an end product from raw or semi-finished materials. There are many different fabrication manufacturing process and the process used depend on both the beginning metal material and the desired end product. Fabrication is used for both custom and stock products. Metal process consists of process used to produce product, components and structures from raw metals. Items created by this process are often known as fabrication. Manufacturing companies perform metal process using a combination of manual and automated process. With this process, they convert raw metals into metal items, which are also known as a fabrication. Choosing a fabrication method suited to given a project depend on part, geometry, the product intent purpose, and the material used in crafting it.
And now I would like to explain the problem statement of our presentation. The first one is warping while punching holes, and the second one is deformation. It occurs when the contraction of the welded metal are cooled and hardened. And the third one is misalignment during cutting. When laser cutting is done wrong, it can result in misalignment. The next one is tooling. It is an important part that we use in fabrication process, followed by cracks. Cracks are an issue with welding as they become larger over time. And the last one is incomplete penetration and fusion. Incomplete root fusion occurs when the weld fails to fuse on one side of the joint in the root.
Okay, now I would like to talk about the objective of the project. The first thing is continuous process normally yield faster delivery as compared to batch process. The manufacturing process need to be flexible enough to adapt and contemplated changes, and volume of production should be large enough to lower costs. Fabrication shops and machine shops have overlapping capabilities, but fabrication shops generally concentrate on metal preparation and assembly as described above. The next one is the product produced by welders, which are often referred to as welding, are an example of fabrication. Furthermore, similarly, millwrights originally specialized in setting up grain mills and sawmills, but today they may be called upon for a broad range of fabrication work.
Now I would like to explain the literature review. Okay, first questionnaires were supplied in the form of Google documents. Okay, then the meaning, definition and imitation of the manufacturing reported in the papers was studied. Then the information review was collected, enabling the manufacturers were identified. Subsequently, the different industries were manufacturing has been applied successfully, were identified and studied. At this stage, the scope of the literature review being reported here was restricted to studying the research activities on applying manufacturing in the industry. Thank you.
I would like to explain about the methodology for our project. First one is start, go to material inspection. Now metal preparation. After metal preparation is going to marking and cutting, drilling and punching holes, and now go to fit up. After that, go to dimensional inspection, doing welding, and now go to visual and dimensional inspection. And now go to blasting and painting, and go to the final inspection, packing and delivery, and site erection installation. I would like to explain about the metal preparation. Metal preparation is the most important thing to make sure there is no any defect in this in metal when we doing metal fabrication. After that only go to marking and cutting. When we do drilling and punching hole, it's important to make sure the machine is operating well, to make sure there is no any defect. And I'm like to explain about the visual dimension inspection. Visual dimension and inspection is most important because we want to make sure there is no any defect and no any problem on the metal that we did metal fabrication process. That's all from me.
Now I would like to talk about result and discussion. There are having 6 steps of problem solving. The most first step is identify, which recognize the symptom and also identify the process variable by causing defect. So in casting there are many defects which are such as pipe and shrinkage, which it happens when molten metal is poured into an ingot mold. It cools and starts to solidify and contract. The outer surface solidify first became fixed while the center remained molten. The next is inclusion, which there are 2 types of inclusion, which are indigenous and exogenous. Indigenous are small intermetallic particles such as sulfide, oxide and silicates formed by chemical reaction by its atmosphere, while exogenous inclusion are larger, resulting from the accidental inclusion of foreign matter such as broken section of refractor lining and can be several centimeters in size. The next one is segregation, which distribution of chemical element in ingots may not be uniform and some region may become enriched in certain elements. So there are also other defects which are cracks, laps and seams. And also the last one is forming defect, which is in small pieces of large ingot section, may be carried out by the fogging or hot rolling process, where it can be a potential problem.
Now I will present result and discussion. Step 2. Define, agree on problem and set boundaries, the scope of the project. Based on the problem statement that we have stated before, we strongly agree on the problems that happen in metal fabrication process. Once the product is designed, the production manager needs to put together plans for manufacturing the product. The manufacture the end product from the part prints, product prototype, or drawing. A production manager has to develop and follow a streamlined process of sequence of operation. This includes the selection of tools and equipment for manufacturing processes to attain the desired quality levels and plans to achieve economy in operations. Scopes of the project is defined as a systematic way of determining manufacturing methods for a product so as to achieve both economy and customer satisfaction. It broadly covers identifying, devising, and specifying tools, equipment, and processes to convert raw material into the finished product. Below are the scopes of the project in manufacturing process in order to avoid any complication in the future.
Now I would like to explain about the third step, which is investigate or collect data from the particular manufacturing process selected. There are various types of metal manufacturing and fabrication process. The first one is casting. Casting is a process which molten metal is poured into a die and allow it to cool and harden into the desired shape. There are variety types of casting which are die casting, sand casting, immersement casting, plaster casting, centrifugal casting, and also permanent mold casting. The next one is segmented dies. Segmented dies is one of the part into which something naturally separate or divided, a division or portion, a part cut off from a figure, especially circular or spherical one, by a line or plane as a part of a circular area contained by arc. The third one is hemming and seaming, which are a process also in metal manufacturing. There are two similar metalworking process which a sheet metal edge is rolled over onto itself. The next one is forging. In forging, there are uses compressive force to shape metal. A hammer or die strikes the metal workpiece until the desired shape is formed. This process can be done with the metal at room temperature. The next one is machining. Machining are referred to the process of shaping metal by removing the unwanted material from it. It can be performed by a variety of ways or process such as drilling, milling, and turning. The next one is welding. Welding is two or more pieces joined together through a combination of heat and pressure. The most popular weldings are arc weld, MIG weld, TIG weld, and also flex cord weld. The last one is extrusion. Extrusion is a process where the workpiece is forced through or around on open or closed area.
Okay, the fourth step of a result in discussion is analyze, use quality tools to aid to identify the root causes of the process problem. Okay, first is increasing customer demands. As we know, we want the best product to sell to our customer, and the problem is they expect an expedited experience in an industrial setting, and they want their products as soon as possible at an affordable price. And the second is supply chain management. Okay, many companies send some processes or components out to other plants to save their money and gets products to the end stage faster and at a lower price, and businesses must work harder. And the third is competitive intelligence, which is the ability to accurately predict that your customer want, how you can best deliver is undeniably valuable. Measure to reduce capital tied up in inventory. Technical risks include product revisions and shorter product life cycles make the stock possibly obsolete. Stock is always a risk. It ties down capital, thus hindering efficiency and turnover figures. There are 5 challenges facing the metal fabrication industry.
My name is Tanasila Patmanade. So the fifth step, implement the solution. First, production schedule. The objectives are to schedule the amount of work which are handled by plant and equipment without interference. Scheduling usually starts with preparation of master schedule, which is weekly or monthly breakdown of the production requirement for each production for a definite time period. A master schedule is followed by operator schedule, which fixes the total time required to do each detailed operation of a given job with a given machine or a process. The second are loading. Loading is a assignment of the work to the operator at their machine or workplaces. It determines who will do the work, as routing determines where, as scheduling determines when it shall done. The third are production control. The process of planning production is advance of operation, establishing the exact route of each individual item part or assembly, setting, starting and finishing for each imported item, assembly or finishing the production, and releasing the necessary order as well as initiating the necessary follow up to have the smooth function of the enterprise. The fourth are the dispatching. Dispatching involves issues of production order for starting the operation. Necessary authority and confirmation is given for movement of material to different workstation, movement, movement of tool and fixture necessary for each operation. The third are beginning of work on each operation, and the fourth are recording of time and cost involved in each operation, and lastly are movement of work from one operation to another in accordance with the route C. And lastly are supervision of work. The sixth step are evaluate the outcome. First are follow-up. Follow-up helps to reveal defects in routing and scheduling, misunderstanding of order and instruction, underloading or overloading of work. Second are corrective action. It usually planning, engineering, adjusting the route or rescheduling of work, changing the workloads, repair and maintenance of machinery and equipment. Before distributing the drawing to other departments, planning engineer needs to study the drawings and prepare to material the requirement plan, Gantt chart, process plan such as tool, stages of internal inspection.
Okay, last but not least is conclusion. In conclusion, metal fabrication today is far from those early beginnings, both in terms of variety of metals that are available and the advanced tools and processes that have been developed. The most significant development in recent decades is the invention of the computer. Its incorporation into both design and programming has totally revolutionized the face of metalworking. We humans have been exploiting planet Earth metals since time immemorial. We may not realize, but most of the things surrounding us are made of metals. The rest have been manufactured using these metals. To exploit metals in the most valuable way, there is a need for proper fabricating processes. That's all. Thank you.
Next for discussion, I would like to talk about the product design. Product design is a strategic decision as the image and profit earning capacity of a manufacturing firm. A good product design always follow form follow function, but there are various factors before design of product such as reliability, maintainability, servicing, reproducibility, consumer quality, product value, and eat and taste of consumer.